Hello girls. Today we are going to be talking about Bandura's social learning theory. Now this is a topic which is there for both the honors as well as the general students, and it is part of topic number 4 from unit 2. So let's see what Bandura's social learning theory is all about. Now, cognitive psychologists are always very interested in answering the question, how do we learn? So, there are various advocates of various points of view regarding this, and amongst them, those psychologists who believe or who emphasize the role of observation of other people's behavior in learning, they are known as the social psychologists. It is from the social psychologists that the social learning theory gets its importance, particularly Albert Bandura. Now, his theory of social learning or the social learning theory is considered to be quite important. What is the base of this theory? So, the base of this theory states that learning which is based on observational or vicarious means indirect experiences, that is more important than learning which is based on direct experiences. Basically, what it refers to is learning through watching and listening to other people. Now, I'm sure this is something that all of us can identify with very well, because given that we live in a society, we are always surrounded by other people, and we are constantly observing others, how they dress, how they talk, and attitudes, and these are what we learn. So, social learning theory says that a lot of what we see around us is what we imbibe. It's what we learn, and it reflects in our subsequent behavior. Just to give you an example, when we look at the way that we treat other people, which can be various categories of people. So let me just give you a small example. How do we treat our maid servants? Now, this is something that we learn through observing and imitating what our parents do. Basically, it starts from there. So let's say that our parents are very respectful and kind and polite towards the maids. So when we observe this kind of behavior, it is highly likely that we will also display the same kind of behavior. On the other hand, if our parents are very rude or very unkind towards the maids or any other subordinates, then again it is highly likely that we will also do the same. So observational learning is definitely a very important part of our lives. All this has been encapsulated into this theory by Albert Bandura. I'm sure that all of us are familiar with the concept of role models. Now, role models are, and you can say, an inevitable part of everyone's life. So a role model is somebody whose behavior we imitate, and such people are known as models. And the learning that we do in this kind of learning, that is known as modeling. So a lot of what we learn is again through watching our role models. Though it is true that the best and most effective or most powerful way of learning is through direct experiences, yet this is not to say that indirect experiences are not very important. In fact, they can be very, very important, and they can be even more desirable than direct experiences. Like just to give you an example, let's say that we are told that driving very fast is not good because it may lead to accidents. So instead of experiencing this ourselves, we drive very fast and we get involved in an accident, and we suffer subsequently. So that is what we call learning through direct experiences. We learn that we should not be driving very fast. Instead, if we can learn this simply by watching people who are involved in accidents due to fast and rash driving, that is something that is infinitely more desirable and more beneficial to us than experiencing that learning ourselves directly. So definitely there is a very important role that indirect or vicarious learning plays in our lives. So we can think about observational learning as something that gives us extra dimensions and opportunities in addition to self-experience. It can be that we reinforce what we learn, through our direct experiences by also taking the help of observational learning. So the importance of this is that it reduces our need to go through every experience, and instead we learn from the examples of others. That means we spare ourselves actually a lot of pain when we resort to learning mainly through observational learning. Now, Bandura's social learning theory. What exactly did he say here? He said that learning through observations by incorporating and imitating the behaviors of models is something that we always do. So he said that there are some steps that are involved in this entire process. Number 1, attending to and perceiving the behavior. So let's say that there is something that we wish to learn. Maybe a shy person wants to become more confident and wants to develop that self-confidence, wants to improve his personality. So he may fixate on, let's say, a particular person who may be perhaps a celebrity, who is readily available on media. So he decides that he is going to be like that particular person who is very confident, who speaks very well. So he decides to start watching, let's say, videos of that particular person. And or it can be that if it's not the overall thing that he's interested in, let's say that he wants to improve his sense of dressing and he greatly admires a film actor or film actress and wishes to dress like that person. So he starts observing what that person wears. So while watching or observing that person, he focuses mainly on the dressing sense. So you can attend to one part of the behavior that is appealing to you, something that you would wish to learn, or you may attend or perceive the entire behavior. Next, remembering the behavior. How is this done? This is done through mental images that are stored in our memory. When we attend or perceive a behavior, then we form mental images, and these mental images are retained in our memory. This is followed by converting that memory into action. So, we take we take recourse to those mental images. You can say we play those mental images again and again in our heads, and we analyze the aspects of the images. Like if the person is interested in gaining confidence and improving one's way of speaking, so he is focusing on his role model's entire behavior manifestations, how he talks, how he carries himself. So he would be going through all these various aspects of the behavior in his mind. Once he does that, he converts that into action. He starts imitating that particular form of behavior. Or it can be the example which I gave about imitating a particular dressing style. Now, all learning is something that is very effective when it is reinforced. So, when the memory has been converted into action, next it is reinforced. It is reinforced through repetition. You repeat that behavior again and again. At the same time, reinforcement can also come when we are, let's say, praised for that particular behavior by other people. Like, when we try to improve our way of speaking or our sense of dressing, and then we get compliments from other people about that, that is a kind of reinforcement of that desired behavior. So these are the 4 steps in social learning theory as advocated by Bandura. This definitely is something that I think all of us can relate to very well. It is a very effective means of learning. As we grow, we are surrounded by people, and I would say that our first teachers, our first role models are our parents. It is when we observe what they do, how they speak, the way they treat us. This is from where we observe and we imitate their behavior. So much of our attitudes are shaped by this. Even like, say, the way that we regard gender roles in society, like what men should be like, what women should be like. All these are things that we observe in our own homes, in our own surroundings. So it may be that a young boy who grows up seeing his father being very abusive towards his mother and being very dominating, he imbibes this learning that this is what men normally do. This is what men are supposed to do. And it is quite likely that when this boy grows up, he will also display the same kind of attitude, same kind of behavior towards women, particularly when he gets married, when he has a wife. The way that he deals with her would be in many ways reminiscent of what he has seen his father doing. In the same way, a young girl, when she sees that, if she sees her mother being very submissive towards her husband, never raising her voice, or never having her voice heard, rather, like accepting whatever is told to her, and generally being very, very docile. This young girl is likely to grow up believing and thinking and internalizing. More than anything, it is a process of internalization, that this is how girls are supposed to behave. So you see, what we see around us shapes our own behavior. This is social learning. And of course, what we see around is when we are in a society where people are kind, and they treat each other well. So that is the kind of behavior that we observe, and that is mostly the kind of behavior that we will be imitating. But if it is something else, like we see people being very rude, people being very angry, or the way that we display anger, the way that we display love or compassion, all these are definitely learned from the environment, from the people around us. So we cannot discard the importance of these indirect experiences or the observational learning. There are so many good things that we learn. At the same time, there are also so many bad things that we can learn. I'd like to just share with you a very small, let's say, story about, how observational learning can affect us. So many years ago, there was a case in Calcutta of a young boy whose name was, I think, Sajal Barui. I still remember his name. And this was a case in the early 90s, I think. He was arrested, and he was very young, by the way. I think he was maybe around 16 years or something like that. He was a juvenile. and he was arrested because he had murdered his stepfather. So it was a very big, news at that time, and the newspapers, the media coverage was all focused on this. So when this boy was asked, what made him do this? Finally, he said like he did not like his stepfather. He was not happy with, the fact that he had married his mother, and he got the idea of killing his stepfather through watching a serial. There was some serial that was showing at that point of time about, how a person, murders his, I think, parents or step-parents or step-parent. So he got his idea from that. So what he did was he was observing the behavior of this person on screen. He was retaining it in his mind, and he actually put it into action. This is, of course, a very drastic form of, learning through indirect experiences. It's just a way for us to remember how very powerful the influences around us can be. So it's, I feel very important that we choose the right role models. When we wish to learn something good, something that is productive, we need to look for positive role models. We need to look for positive behavior, and that is what we need to observe. That is what we need to imitate. But life being what it is not only the good things that we learn. We also definitely learn a lot of what is considered to be bad or negative. So this is what this theory is all about. We start by attending or perceiving a particular behavior or a behavior pattern. Then we retain that particular behavior pattern in our memory. Then we analyze that, and then in our memory, in our mind, and then we put it into action, and finally we reinforce that particular behavior. So this is how social learning takes place according to Bandura. We simply observe and imitate the behavior of others, and these people from whom we learn, they are our role models. Therefore, we need to be very aware about the different kinds of role models in our lives. So that's all for this particular theory, Bandura's social learning theory. Thank you so much.